What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. In today's video, we're kicking off the Ultra League videos of the week. Some really great teams coming down the pipeline this week, so stay tuned for more. First team I ran in the Ultra League this rotation absolutely popped off. We've got my Shadow Regirock on the lead with Virizion and Golisopod. Now, real quick, going to get into the alternatives here. You don't need a Shadow Regirock. You should use a regular Regirock if you want to, or something else that's a hard anti-flyer, like a Roris or Ampharos, something like that. And then Virizion, personally, I think I'd prefer to have Stone Edge on it. Bar none. Like, I gotta be honest. Like, I think I would have preferred to have it. But other than that, Golisopod's goated. Y'all know it. And real quick before we get into the battles here, just a reminder that I am doing a team building group session or seminar on Metafy. So please check out the link in the description or the pinned comment for that to get a seat and be able to get in on that, because it's going to be a really, really good lesson for anyone who's not sure about team building or if they want to get better at it. So let's get into the games here and check out this Regirock team in the Open Ultra League, starting off with a really bad lead with Poliwrath. Bro, Poliwrath is like legitimately on every team now in the Ultra League. It's ridiculous. But the opponent obviously not having a good response to the Golisopod as they come in with a Cresselia here and they get the defense drop. Now this is one of those times where, like, it's always like I wish I had X-Scissor, but sometimes I wish I most predominantly wish I had Aerial Ace, so I prefer to run that. Liquidation I feel like does a good enough job in neutral matchups like this one, where if I get a defense drop, it puts it within a range where I can start to have a chance to win this matchup. I'm going to go for an Aerial Ace here on the CMP, either take out the opponent's Cresselia or get a shield. And if they shield, I have a chance to farm down here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shield up. I'm going to match the shields here, as I do need to get Virizion on the, I'm going to need to get it on the Poliwrath. Now, I would prefer to have Leaf Blade and Stone Edge to clarify. You don't want to have Sacred Sword, at least I don't think in this meta right now, right? Poliwrath and Jellicent, and there's all these waters lying around that you really want to have the grass covers. And Sacred Sword, you've got Double Kick. I mean, that does well enough. There were definitely some situations where it felt nice to have Sacred Sword, but I don't think I ever really felt like it was necessary. And right here, I could have just taken the Talonflame out of the sky. But I do swap in my Regirock here because I resist the entire moveset. Just like Charizard, I can take pretty much 2 or 3 of anything this thing is going to throw at me, and all I have to do is get to 2 Stone Edges. So I overload a bunch on energy, so my plan here is either get to 2 Stone Edges if they decide to shield, or they don't shield! Boom! And we get a one-shot on the Talonflame, and I was totally not ready to hit the button. I was so analytical. Gonna go for the Stone Edge bait there, and then I'm gonna look to go for the Focus Blast if I can get to it. Opponent looking for that farm down, not gonna get it. Stone Edge, gonna get the shield, and now we're gonna get the Focus Blast, kaboom, kaboom, at the end of the game. Good game to my opponent. The amount of times that I have come back from bad leads like that cannot be overstated, okay? Or understated. It's perfect. Golisopod is an absolutely bozo nuts safe swap. Also, as much as these bozos running Lantern, dude, are you kidding me? So many people running Lantern in the Ultra League right now, it's disgusting. And that's why I started running Trevenant a couple days ago, just trying to team with Trevenant, which you guys will see in a few days here. Just so, like I said, stay tuned. They take me out with Thunderbolt. At this point, I'm like, what the hell do I do to this? So we got to come in with the Virizion here. I'm going to absorb some energy and overfarm by a lot. The fact that they have Poliwrath here kind of tells me that they're really not taking into account grass types in their team building. So I'm kind of hoping that my Virizion's going to have some play against whatever's in the back. Or this could be one of those trainers that's like, you know what? I'm going to have ABA Water and then one really hard answer in Skarmory. But Skarmory, which is another Great League bozo, get him out of here, man. Great League, put it back in the Great League. It doesn't even hit 2300 CP, or it's close to it, but I don't think it even hits that. I don't know, let's see what the numbers when it comes back. 2407. All right, fine, I guess it's okay. But stealing Skarmory, getting that boost here. I'm going for the extra energy. I have a ton of opportunity here because I have my shield. So Virizion here, going to use its shields well. Going to go for the good timing, make sure I go for these Sacred Swords. Okay, now this is one of those situations where, yes, I would absolutely say that I would prefer to have the Sacred Sword. But the amount of Ultra League Skarmories I've run into totals literally 2. And that's just because they're people that I know in the community that are like XL, like they're Ultra League enthusiasts who have stuff like that. I don't even have one. I've never actually got one that was worth building. So I'm going to go with the Focus Blast here. I'm going to hope that I can get a shield or I can get the Virizion in with its shield. to handle this thing. So they don't shield the Focus Blast, which is good for me, but they're within 2 moves. I do throw Sacred Sword. Doesn't really matter here. What I'm kind of hoping for is to get some energy with my opponent, able to get the Scald off and take the win there from me, so good game. It was close, because of the Poliwrath sitting in the back, and my Virizion couldn't handle the whole team. So we get another Poliwrath. I'm not even kidding you, 3 in a row. 3 in a row, and the opponent comes in with a Staraptor. Staraptor looks like a hell of a lot of fun, and I have 2 of them that I could build. I have a Shadow and a non-Shadow, but I don't know what to use it with. So for right now, it's going to stay unbuilt. Maybe next rotation, I'll build one and bust it out. But my opponent has the hardest check in the book to Golisopod outside of something like Pidgeot. So I kind of have to just stay here, but I do get shield from the opponent here, which is really nice. What I'm looking to do here potentially is get this thing down to a range where Regirock can deal with it. So I'm going to look to bring this game into the 0 shields right now. And I don't think I can really farm down with Regirock. But the opponent gives me switch advantage and they take the shield advantage, which honestly is a blessing because I really wasn't sure what I was going to do here, if I'm being completely honest. So now the opponent brings in their Poliwrath here and I can successfully keep it away from Regirock. A lot of the times what happens is I lose lead with this team and the opponent maybe decides that they don't want to give up switch. So now I have my Virizion on the Poliwrath, which while this is certainly not a good situation to be in, opponent does swap into their Talonflame, and this gives me switch advantage, which now allows me to basically win the game. Virizion wasn't going to have a great time because of the Icy Winds, but having Leaf Blade would have helped it in that matchup. I know I overfarmed by a bit, but, you know, it is what it is. But my opponent, not going to deal with this. Not going to want these hands. They decide to let the Talonflame go, throw energy into the Regirock, and at this point, Virizion has the 2 moves it needs, or nearly has 2 moves anyway, but I don't get an animation there. I was going to go for 1 and then the move anyway, so I guess it was fine, but it really took me by surprise, not getting even the animation. But back-to-back Leaf Blades is going to be enough to take this Poliwrath out, which is going to take the game, and there it is. So shield up, and then Leaf Blade comes through, and that's a good game well played to my opponent. Definitely good game here. Them letting the Staraptor go was the game. That was it. Like, I'm going to be completely honest. I probably don't win that game if they go for switch. So we've got Trevenant on the lead in the next game. This is a bit of a core-breaking lead for me because I don't want my Virizion in the back to see it either. Golisopod would certainly do much better here, but Regirock, we're going to go for a chip and dip strategy instead because here's the thing. Even though Virizion, not necessarily having a good time against Trevenant, now that the HP range that Trevenant's in makes it so it's actually manageable for Virizion if I end up getting locked on here. But another bozo in the Ultra League running Lantern, my nemesis. I can't escape this damn fish anywhere I go, man. It's really, really frustrating. It truly is. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go for shields, and I'm going to try and get the shield off of my opponent here, and we win CMP. So if I can go even shields at this point and eliminate the Lantern's energy, I think I'm feeling okay about that. Opponent does shield, and at this point, I'm just going to shield again, and I think I can actually farm down here, which is kind of nuts when you think about it, but I'm going to take the L on the shields, go for switch advantage here. Not really sure if I'm going to need it, but I would certainly prefer not to have a loaded Trevenant locked on against me here. But the opponent has a Greninja, and now I'm really glad that I went for switch, because now I can lock my Virizion in this. But what I do here is something I don't normally do, right? Normally, I would stay in, get the alignment I need, and then come in with the Virizion. But the thing is that Trevenant kind of does well no matter what here, so I want to lure it out and get it out of the way. Regirock, hopefully, is healthy enough to live a full Hydro Cannon. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for at this point. Opponent goes for the Resisted Seed Bomb, and I'll get the first shield at least off my opponent here by going for a Sacred Sword. Now, you should go for Leaf Blade. I'm going to be honest here. Leaf Blade does more damage. I should have gone for Leaf Blade. That was bad. That was my bad. Leaf Blade does slightly more damage, but the opponent is now forced to throw all of their energy here, which means if I can get Regirock to a move, I win the game. So gonna come in with Regirock, and if I have to, I'll try to swap and catch a move, which was kind of my idea here. But I want you to look and see what happens. Yeah, I went to hit the button, but I guess I was a turn too late. So, rip me, I guess, but we're gonna go and survive the Hydro Cannon because Regirock is a god. And again, if this was a non-Shadow Regirock, it would have been much more comfortable for me. But I have a Shadow Regirock. I wanted to use it. Boom! So there we have it. Good game. Yeah, like the Shadow Regirock for me is just complete spice. Like, that's it. So another lead loss here. Almost every single game here has been a lead loss of some kind. Coming in with the Guzzlord here, and at this point, I'm just like, man, I wish I had X-Scissor. I'm hoping that whatever I can do here, I can somehow, like, win Switch. Maybe my opponent doesn't want to win Switch. I don't know. But Virizion and Regirock both kind of eat at the Toxicroak. So I'm not really seeing a huge, like, this is one of those situations where it's like they have a really strong lead and the only answer that I have to that lead gets hard answered and that answer can just ramp up on energy. I'm not, yeah, I already know how this game ends. Obviously I did it, you know, before. And, yeah, I just top left. I have no win condition. I don't even know what's in the back, but I don't think I have one. So sometimes it happens, right? But we get a Dragonite in the lead in the next game. Not a bad lead by any means. Opponent immediately swaps in Cresselia. Get a little bit of lag there on the frames, but gonna go into the Golisopod here. Now, being that I am behind by about 1 or 2 Psycho Cuts here is a little bit frustrating, but that's okay. And then the most frustrating thing, however, is that I get the damn debuff on a 10% chance, and I don't get any debuffs on them. So this is really not a good situation for me to be in right now. So this is another situation where I wish I had Stone Edge on Virizion, because at least that would give me an alternative way to hit the Dragonite if my Regirock doesn't get the opportunity. So, you know, I'm honestly saying that I get a lot more times where I wish I had the Stone Edge, and I think that I know that it's tough to TM away Sacred Sword. I actually had to go off and build a second Virizion to have that moveset available to me. But in the long run, I think that it's worth it to have, you know, those kinds of things made. You know, 2 Pokemon of with a legacy move and 1 without. Just for the sake of having the option, right? But I'm able to rip both shields from this opponent here, which makes me feel kind of good. And I'll bring in Regirock here, and I'm going to look to farm up as much as I can and hopefully not take 2 Grass Knots, because if I have to take another Grass Knot, I have to shield. Opponent has a ton of energy, so I am going to be forced to shield this up. Regirock does need to stay alive long enough to hit that Dragonite, but the opponent swaps in a Poliwrath, and I, like a complete idiot, throw the energy. I shouldn't have. And once again, this would have opened up a situation for me to be like, hey, I've got Leaf Blade Stone Edge. Come on in with Dragonite. Let me smash it. Let me smash, Becky. If anybody knows that meme. But, gonna overload on energy here. Let the opponent almost, you know, I let them get to another move here. Because I want to be as low as possible when the Dragonite comes in, but I'm also dead. So I just let it go. It's like, yeah, no. Me not having Stone Edge loses me that game. All I have to do is have Stone Edge, and I have a chance. So another Poliwrath lead. I promise you, this team went really well. I did like a 3-2 and a 4-1, okay? I promise you that this team is good. I don't filter out the games in some of these videos, so y'all can see that I get smashed sometimes. It just happens, okay? But Golisopod is doing some work in this Trevenant here. Opponent just... yeah, they don't win this matchup. There's no way that this opponent does win this matchup in any situation where I need Switch. I'm double shielding and I'm winning this matchup. Like, I outpace to the Aerial Ace. I outpace to, you know, I outdo them in move damage as well. Shadow Claw doing super effective, whereas theirs are doing neutral. And I have the ability to hit their Poliwrath back because they bring it back in. And I do win CMP here as well. So opponent's got to go for move right away. If it's just Icy Wind, I comfortably live this. And it's just Icy Wind. It doesn't really do much damage, so I'm going to stay in. And then my opponent comes in with their Talonflame, and now the heavens are singing. My Regirock is ready. He's like, let me out of this ball, damn it. Let me out of the ball. So the opponent has a Talonflame. And we all know what happens to Talonflames. I literally felt like I was going Talonflame hunting. And if you're playing... if you're playing the Stone Edge on the Virizion, you too can go Talonflame hunting with this team, as you probably clicked on it because that's what the title of this video is going to be. So, Stone Edge gets shielded, the opponent thinking that maybe they don't have enough left in the tank, or they think that maybe Talonflame can somehow get its way through this matchup. Absolutely not a chance. Going to overload on energy yet again. Even though the Incinerates are definitely chunking, being resisted. Not going to give the chance. Talonflame goes down, and then we're going to see Virizion come in to clean up this game as the Poliwrath has no way to one-shot a Virizion, and we're going to get the Leaf Blade right now to take this game. So well played to the opponent. Just charge up that Leaf Blade, get the KO, and that's it. This is a timely end of the song, too. All right, getting into the next battle, we got an Ampharos on the lead. This is another awkward one because if they have Trailblaze, right, this could be awkward for me. But opponent comes in with a Smackdown Chestnut, and I'm in shambles right now as I'm like, no, there's no way they just came in with a Chestnut. I swear to God, I thought it was Virizion. I should have come in with my own Virizion here. But the opponent does... The opponent does take the double super effective Aerial Ace, but because of the damage from their Smackdowns, I have to shield here. This is the Zionic Special. I've not seen a man more enjoying swapping out into a Chestnut with Aerial Ace like he does. And I know that this is probably where that trainer got the idea from. But I mean, it's a good one, right? You're gonna bring out the Talonflame, right? And you probably smash it. So I'm gonna get the farm down with Regirock here, and the opponent comes in with Trevenant, and this is fine. This is fine. So the opponent, realizing they have a better answer to Regirock than Ampharos, and swapping out to try and get that alignment. But I'm able to get in with my Regirock, and honestly, this is fine because I have the Virizion in the back to deal with the Ampharos. I'm totally fine with this. Now, I have to be careful, though, because this opponent does have, like I said, it's Ampharos, right? So I need to be able to get to the move, but apparently I don't. I thought I was going to live with 1 HP to get to that move. Now things are dangerous. Now I got to talk about shielding a Shadow Ball, and then the opponent's Ampharos does a ton of damage typically, so I'm going to go for a Leaf Blade here. The opponent swaps to catch. They are within Leaf Blade range here, though. So if they're not at a charge move, if I can just charge myself up to 2 Leaf Blades, I'm chilling. We're going to be fine, but I need to be able to leave this matchup with a Leaf Blade loaded. So that's kind of the play here. So my opponent goes for Thunder Punch. This tells me that they're probably running Brutal Swing Thunder Punch, which means I don't really have anything to fear at this point, except they're going to get me into range for that Shadow Ball. Seed Bomb definitely not going to do much here, so this is all going to come down to if the opponent's got to move. So here we're going to find out. Going for the immediate Leaf Blade. The opponent did not have the move stored. Let's go. Going to be able to get the Leaf Blade off, take out the Trevenant with it, and that's a good game. Virizion as a counter to Trevenant confirmed. Yep. All right, getting into the next game here. We've got Regirock versus a Altered Giratina. Very awkward here because the Virizion's in the back, so I'm forced to stay in here with the Regirock, and I'm going to go for the Stone Edge after letting them hit me with a what I would assume here is a Dragon Claw, as normally they wouldn't go for Shadow Sneak if they don't need to. So I'm going to go for my Stone Edges here. They come out very hard, very fast, and being Shadow, the opponent, oh, excuse me, the opponent actually shields the first one, which was very odd to me, but what that tells me is they've probably got something in the back that does not want to see Regirock. Once again, I would expect it to be something like Talonflame or Charizard, something of the sort. So I'm now going to swap in here to preserve a little bit of my Regirock here, and then I'm going to come in with my Golisopod in order to start, you know, getting ahead on energy, trying to lure out whatever's in the back that maybe doesn't want to see it, but the opponent just stays in here and is throwing energy at me, which is, I guess, fine. Right? I would rather they throw the energy here, and then they come in with Cobalion. So this is definitely not the thing that didn't want to see Regirock that's in the back of this team. So there's still something back there that's got to be weak to Regirock, and my opponent is rocking the Giratina Cobalion core. This is a team that I did see, I believe, on a Zionic video, at least 2 seasons ago, I think, right? Like, it was a while ago where it was Giratina, Charizard, Cobalion. So I have a sneaking suspicion that it might be a very similar team, if not maybe the same one. So once again, I really wish I had Stone Edge on Virizion because I can expect that there's probably a fire type in the back. Opponent goes for the Sacred Sword. I'm just farming all the way down here to keep all the energy. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw it into whatever comes in, but the opponent does come in. There's the Charizard, so I immediately swap in Regirock with a shield. I just need to get to 2 Stone Edges here. The opponent has no shields remaining, so if I can get, and the opponent swapped out with, I believe, 3 Wing Attacks, so they're going to need 6 more to get to 2 moves, which they won't be able to do before I get to the Stone Edge. We get a CMP tie here, and as soon as the opponent is done throwing this Dragon Claw and getting my shield, they're going to get Stone Edge to the face. This is going to be a good game. Well played to the opponent, but nevertheless, Regirock's out here taking names. All right, getting into the next battle here. We've got another Lantern on the lead, and I swear to God, I cannot deal with this thing anymore, dude. I'm staying in here because I have to, because I have a Golisopod in the back, which does not like it at all. Gonna go for the Stone Edge here. Opponent is gonna get to the Surf here right after this, and they do not throw right away. So what I'm looking to do here is do a force catch, right? I want to catch the Surf, keep Regirock somewhat healthy, as one of the things that we've noticed with this new meta is that when you see a water type like Lantern, it's typically got a flyer in the back, and there's the Mandibuzz right there. So we're able to lure out the Mandibuzz and keep it off of Virizion, which is nice. But now, I mean, honestly, what happens now, right? Like, you know, Regirock, it can deal with Lantern, but the Lantern has energy. It did left with about a Surf loaded. So we're going to have to see how this opponent plays this out. The Mandibuzz does have a distinct advantage with the Aerial Ace, but they are going to be having to throw their energy in order to take me out here because those Snarls aren't doing a whole lot of damage. So Liquidation comes through. We're taking it low, getting another defense drop. The opponent looking for the Snarl down, but I'm not going to give it to him and able to get to the Aerial Ace here before getting Snarled down. The Aerial Ace will draw the shield from the opponent, and excuse me, goodness. I come in with my Regirock to absorb the energy because I'd rather take a neutral move on my Regirock than take a double super effective Aerial Ace on Virizion. So I will shield up one of them because they've got double Dark Pulse from that farm that they had, but the opponent makes a critical mistake here, and they swap in their Lantern to try and get my last shield, which is fine. So I'm going to bank up a Stone Edge and swap in Virizion. I'm going to hard farm all the way down. Once again, really, really wish I had Stone Edge here because I'm expecting there to be a flyer in the back. You know, you want to be able to deal with, you know, two of the things that really don't, you know, Lantern really doesn't appreciate here, excuse me, is dragons and grass. And there's still both in this meta, but I still think that there will be more Virizion, at least at the moment, right? So the opponent comes in with a green and does a really fantastic catch on the Mandibuzz here. I have to get rid of the Mandibuzz regardless, so I'm going to full charge it. But now, at least I can see the full team. I have Sacred Sword. This is that one situation where I'm glad I have Sacred Sword. Because if I had Leaf Blade, it probably, I mean, it would still do something, but it wouldn't do as much. I throw right away with bad timing because they were one away from a Body Slam, and I wanted to make sure I got the move off before they did. So at this point, Regirock is sitting in the back with a Stone Edge loaded. I just need to get to one move. My opponent needs 2 moves to KO here, and they have to get to a crunch as well. I don't believe a crunch is going to be enough, so they've got to get up to a crunch and then some. I'm going to be able to get to the Stone Edge before they're able to get there, though. And there goes the squirrel. Bye-bye, green. Boom! And that's a good game. Well played. So we ended up getting a 7-3 run with this team. Team is extremely good. No XLs. Very consistent. Very strong. Well made. Just a great team. It's Axon, our current world champion, also made this team. He and I just seem to be making teams because we also played the same exact team that you're going to see in a video later this week. And I played on stream, and then he tweets about it, and I'm like, oh, so we're just sharing brain cells. All right. Anyway, respect. But that's going to be it for this video, y'all. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.